Welcome to the 15th qualifier. We've had 14 rounds before this. Most of the teams already have their marks up on the leaderboard. We have had 64 schools battling for a place to find in the top 24. Before we begin, we must thank our knowledge partners, IIM Calcutta Innovation Park, without whose help and support this event would not have been possible. They have been with us every step of the way, helping us conceptualize this entire event and giving us the eminent judges, the mentors that you teams have had. For that, we must thank them. We also must thank our gold sponsors, BSNL, our associate sponsors, Webel Fujisoft Vara Center of Excellence, and Logdhun, and our prizes sponsor, the SKC LNCT Group of Colleges from Madhya Pradesh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, these are the 4 teams that would be participating today. We have Delhi Public School Ruby Park from Kolkata, Kendra Vidyalaya number 1 from Itarshi, the Mayo College Boys School from Ajmer, and Ramana Vidyalaya from Chennai. The students, if you could please switch on your cameras, we would like to do a round of introductions. Would request all the participants to please switch on their cameras. I can see the DPS team on my screen. Yes. KV Itarshi, Ramana Vidyalaya. I'm sure the others could also switch them on in due course. The DPS Ruby Park team from Kolkata, we would love to start the introductions with you. Why don't you go one by one and tell us which class you're studying in, what are your interests and hobbies?
Okay, I'll start. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, clearly.
Okay, very good afternoon to everyone present here. My name is Nandini and I'm a class 12 student, commerce. At that, I aspire to major in economics and finance. And my hobbies are public speaking, dancing, and reading books. Not that often, but yeah, I'm a movie person, but yes.
Hello, good afternoon to all the esteemed judges and everyone present here. I am Tanishka Tekriwal. I am also from the 12th grade. I aspire to be a lawyer in the future, and my hobbies would include reading and cooking.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm also a student of class 12 commerce. My interests lie in the areas of business, public speaking, music, and literature. And I aspire to major in business.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Isha Jen from DPS Ruby Park. I also study in class 12. And my hobbies as such are dancing and reading books and stuff. And I aspire to become like an entrepreneur in the near future.
Well, team from DPS Ruby Park, Kolkata, welcome to the event. Kushal, your voice was dropping in and out while you were introducing yourself. Your Wi-Fi might not just be proper. Could you just have a check?
Is this better now?
We can hear you. The volume is fine. It's just that the connectivity is going on and off in between. Just ensure that you are
Okay.
network.
Yeah. I'll check.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. KV number 1 from Itarshi. If the team could please introduce yourselves. The team from Kendra Vidyalaya number 1, Itarshi.
Hey everyone, I am Stuti Singh from Kendra Vidyalaya number 1 of Itarshi, and I am a bioscience student and I want to become a doctor.
Nitin, you'll have to unmute yourself, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Nitin Shah of KV number 1 Ordnance Factory Itarshi, and I am a 12th grade student, and I want to become a IAS officer in future. And my hobbies are playing cricket and reasoning and solving the riddles. Thank you.
Satyam, could you please go next? Could Stuti or Nitin, one of you, please get in touch with Satyam because we can't see or hear him, and we would want his connectivity to be fine before we start with your team. I will move across to the team from Mayo College Boys School, Ajmer. Guys, could you please introduce yourselves?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Kunal.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, we can see and hear you. Go on.
A very
Good
good
afternoon,
afternoon,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. Please, Kunal, go ahead.
Yeah.
Speak after you.
My name is Kunal Grover, and I study in Mayo. I aspire to become a philosopher. Basically, I like to read philosophy, and basically, I want to go in education and policy making. After that, yeah, that's it. Arjun, please.
A very good afternoon to everybody. My name is Arjun Singh Nagra. I'm in the 11th grade in Mayo College. I'm currently studying in the 11th grade. And like my father, I would like to pursue law as an option. But I have a very keen interest in business studies, as I feel it has a huge and vital role to play in many corporate and business houses when one is interacting with them. So I find business studies a very informative and a very interesting subject. Thank you.
Thank you, the team from Mayo College Boys School, Ajmer. Arjun, while you were speaking, your voice was also cutting in and out a little bit. There's some time to go before your team comes on, so I would suggest you utilize this time to ensure that your connectivity is up to speed.
Right, sir. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience.
No worries. Right, we will get across to the team from Ramana Vidyalaya, Chennai. The team from Ramana, could you please introduce yourselves?
Afternoon, everybody. I hope everyone can hear me loud and clear. I'm from class 11, computer science, and I am from Ramana Vidyalaya, of course. And I love to play anything, just any sports that has physical activity in it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Kaushik, I can't see anybody else who has joined from your team. Please confirm if your other teammates are here.
Yes, I'll look into it. Thank you for informing.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, those were the participants, the young entrepreneurs who will be presenting their ideas today from these 4 wonderful schools. Before we move forward, we've had the privilege of having some wonderful judges throughout the course of this event. Today is no different as we have 2 esteemed mentors from IIM Calcutta Innovation Park. We have Mr. Devashish Gupta, who's a mechanical engineer from IIT Kharagpur of the 1971 batch, who then went on to complete his management studies from IIM Calcutta in the 1973 batch. He's had investment banking experience with Grindlays Bank and over 30 years of consulting experience, including World Bank, United Nations, and other organizations. He's had education setup experience with computer education and management education, and has participated in companies that perform software development both within India and abroad. Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for being here today, sir. Privileged to have you here. We also have with us Mr. Shuman Mukhopadhyay, who is the director of Banglanatov.com, a social enterprise headquartered in Kolkata, founded in the year 2000, which works on culture-based development, promotion of grassroots entrepreneurship, and behavior change communications to make change happen on the ground. He's had more than 22 years of experience in development, engineering, and financial sectors. He has worked with the Department of MSME and T, Government of West Bengal, in developing an entrepreneurial ecosystem in the state. He headed unique business idea contests like Ekiye Bangla Project, the first ever government-sponsored business idea reality show on television in West Bengal, and Smart 50, the largest startup contest in India, organized by IIM Calcutta Innovation Park in partnership with DST Government of India, STPI, and NDTV. His primary area of interest is social entrepreneurship. Sir, thank you so much for making the time to be here today. I'm sure the students would wow you just as they have done with the judges who came before you. Well, those were the introductions. Before we move on, a little bit about Notebook. We at Notebook are an edtech product. We create content to make lives of students and teachers easier. This is one of the ways in which we do that. Well, if you've ever missed taking down lines of notes during class and missed the pause button, notebook might just be the thing to help you out. Well, now on to the job at hand. This is the 15th qualifier. The first team on is Delhi Public School Ruby Park from Kolkata. Delhi Public School team, I would request the participants to please switch on your cameras. At this point, I would request the other teams to keep their cameras off, please, so that we can focus on the team presenting. DPS Ruby Park team, could you please let me know who will be presenting?
Sir, I will share the screen.
All right, Nandini, could you just test it out once?
Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes.
Great. So let me know when you're ready to start.
Okay, I'll start now.
Great. So team from DPS Ruby Park, Kolkata, all the best. Your time for 7 minutes starts now.
A very good afternoon to respected judges, other panelists, and all the attendees. We, the students of Delhi Public School Ruby Park, will now be presenting our business plan, Neutralize Health on the Go. Now let's see what actually is our business. Abroad, food trucks are a common sight. Whether it be the streets of New York or Europe, we often come across ice cream trucks or hot dog stands or coffee carts. The concept of food on wheels is really popularized internationally, but in India, this concept has barely touched the surface. In our country, people often associate food sold on the street as unhealthy and unhygienic. Hence, with this business, we aim at clearing this very misconception by popularizing and normalizing the culture of food trucks. In our business, we will ensure a hygienic workplace inside the truck with proper sanitization measures in place. We will also be providing our meals in paper disposable to reduce any contact. Moving forward to our business model, we will develop a website in which we will have all the necessary features, our standard menu, our pricing, our membership fee, along with a map to track the location of the truck and our deliveries. We plan to locate ourselves in commercial hubs and populated areas so that after school hours, the students can avail our food, or during office lunch hours, the working people can buy our food. We will also have a delivery feature in our service, which will be beneficial to those who prefer convenience delivered to their doorstep. Moreover, our edge over other joints would be our mobility. The ease of moving from one location to another in our food truck would help us to reach to more of our target customers. Now coming to our unique selling proposition, that is that we will be selling healthy food. We prioritize health without compromising on taste. We will be using wheat instead of flour, frozen yogurt instead of ice cream, pita pockets instead of pizza. For a normal person, these modifications might seem to be not much instrumental, but for a nutritionist, these modifications can bring a lot of difference in calorie count of a person. This is why our menu will be designed by professionals in the field of nutrition. Their specializations and qualifications will be mentioned to build credibility to our business. Our members can also pay a premium of 1,000 rupees added to our membership fee of around 2,700 to 3,000 rupees for a one-on-one session with our in-house nutritionist, which is far less than the standard consultation fees, that is around 6,000 to 8,000 rupees per hour. We will also have an option for people who live alone in the city with no house help to get deliveries every day at their chosen time, whether it be lunch, dinner, or breakfast.
Now coming to why this business idea. It's a genuine misconception that exercising alone is enough to keep your body fit and healthy. People miss out on a key factor, that is the food we consume. The balance of both is the only way to attain a healthy lifestyle. Through our venture, we don't only want to clear this misconception, but others too. We want to change the way people look at healthy food. We don't want them to look at healthy food as boring and tasteless, but as a way of life. Moreover, everyone nowadays prefer food on the go given the fast-paced lives they are living. We also solve that problem by opting for food on wheels. Customers in particular areas can avail the to-go service at their ease, and it provides mobility to our business as well.
Onto our value proposition. We'll be health center. Instead of opting for a takeaway at a fast food joint, our service will provide you with healthier, better alternative right at your doorstep. We aim at promoting a healthy lifestyle, keeping in mind the importance of fitness and health. Time saving. You don't have to stop at your way to collect your food. You don't even have to wait for your delivery. We will deliver a warm, nutritious package at your doorstep at your chosen time every single day. Cost effective. At the end of every month, you end up burning a hole in your pocket, ordering from fancy restaurants. That in turn adversely affects your health. So what better than availing a service that provides you nutritious, healthy, yet tasty alternatives at a nominal subscription fee? We'll also have professional help. An annual or monthly subscription to our service would unlock additional features such as access to our in-house dietitians. They will curate a personalized diet chart for you suiting your lifestyle. Personalized service, we provide you with tailor-made solutions and not one size fits all. People have different preferences when it comes to food, whether it be cuisines, ingredients, and so on. Onto our target market, teenagers and adolescents. India has 14.4 million obese children. This is mainly due to eating high calorie and junk food. This business will help to keep their health at bay. Working people. In this fast-paced world, people are so involved in their jobs that they don't have time to take care of themselves. Amidst all the deadlines, their lunch hour is not adequate. Our business will help them to maintain a proper diet and lifestyle. Fitness enthusiasts. People who are very conscious about their health, hire nutritionists and dietitians with the business.
Is Tisha's camera frozen for everyone?
Yeah.
Yes, I can't hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll continue. We'll also get.
Hold on. Let me know. So, Tisha, your camera had frozen. Would you like
Is
to
it
continue?
okay
I
now?
had paused the timer.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, I think it's okay now. I had paused the timer. Must warn you, you have 30 seconds left on the clock. You let me know when you're ready to start.
Shall we start? Yeah, we'll start now.
All right, go for it.
People with dietary restriction. Many people are lactose intolerant, gluten intolerant, diabetic, etc. For them, our meals will be personally curated.
Coming to the COVID-19 protocols, all trucks will be sanitized on a daily basis. We'll have all the necessary machinery handy for this purpose. All our employees will have been vaccinated with at least one dose of the vaccine. There's a necessary criteria of our employees. Our employees will obviously be wearing proper protective gear to avoid skin contact so that safety can be ensured. Any non-compliance with this will be grounds for firing. The body temperature of our employees and deliverymen will be monitored daily.
But that's, guys, that's 7 minutes. It's your choice if you want to continue, but we will be penalizing points for going over time. Would you guys want to continue or shall we go to the questions?
So we would like to continue to just 2 more slides.
Sure, it's your call, but you will be penalized points. Just wanted to keep you informed. All right. Sorry to disturb. You can continue.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So now we will have all the necessary COVID protocols and on to our scaling plans. For people who don't know what plant-based meat is, that it is just an healthy and more better alternative to animal meat using plant fibers. So we will collaborate with companies who produce plant-based meats. This will help our business to tap the vegetarian as well as the non-vegetarian market. We also have plans for having drive-throughs, since our entire business is built on the model of to go and save time. We also aim at selling food through drive-throughs, which is not really popular in India. Third being that we will tie up with gyms. Gym can advertise our brands to their customers who already follow a very strict and healthy diet. And these customers can get special incentives, and the respective gyms can get a cut from our sales in return. We would also collaborate with school and college canteens and delivery services like Swiggy and Zomato for wider reach and less burden on delivery from our side. And lastly, our marketing campaign is twofold: on-ground campaigns and digital campaigns. The digital campaigns will be focused on influencer activities. We will approach renowned influencers and fast food bloggers, and we'll send them our products, and they can post it on their social media sites to get the word out. We will also have UCJ activities, that is user-generated content. This is basically fitness campaigns for people, so that if they win, it is basically to incentivize them with special coupons, heavy discounts on our membership plans. And our on-ground campaigns will be taste test stalls, stalls which will challenge people to taste two different sets of burgers, one from our brand, which will be low calorie and healthier, and one from fast food chains. So the participant will have to guess which is which. The motto of this activity is to foster the idea that not all junk food breeds junk inside your body without compromising on your taste. So these activities will be recorded, and their reactions will be posted on all the social media sites. Thank you.
Well, the team from DBS Ruby Park, Kolkata, thank you for your presentation. I must inform you that you went 2 minutes over time, and we will have to dock you points for those, but a great idea nevertheless. Let's see what the judges think of it. The judges, the floor is now yours for the questions.
Yeah, Tanisha, Nandini, Tisha, Kaushal, very good. This is interesting idea. See, one of the key challenges of any business idea is the execution part, right? So what you have thought through, there are quite an interesting set of innovation that you kind of brought in. But how will you execute that is, if you can help me understand. So let's say take one segment. So you spoke about drive-through. You spoke about home deliveries, right? So let's take these two. So what are your thoughts? How are you going to execute that? Take one example, one particular area, and then help me understand what are your plans.
Okay, sir. So the beauty of our business is that it culminates unique and distinct features which are not really popular in India. This would makes our business unique and attractive to customers. Now, drive-throughs are our future plans of scaling, which we can do. Right now, we will focus on a food truck and delivery services for the people. Later, maybe with the wider reach, we can have a cloud kitchen and drive-throughs to sell them the food that they need. And that is our entire business proposition, to sell healthy food and at to actually complement the convenience of our customers.
Great. And the other thing that I have is, did you figure out what kind of permissions and statutory compliances that you would need to run this kind of a business?
So we had an entire budget plan, but with time constraints, we couldn't show it to you. So we definitely will have to employ staff. We will also employ nutritionists for this purpose. We will have a food truck and all the delivery services and the delivery bikes and all. So for that, I think since our added advantage is our mobility, we will have time schedules for traveling our food truck into populated areas so that we can pay heed to either school students when the school gets over or during office lunch hours around the commercial hub. I think this is placed to our advantage.
But okay, that's good. But my question was, did you figure out the permissions that you would need?
We are
And
yet
from
to
which
work on
agencies do
that.
you need? What kind of permissions?
Yes, sir, we are yet to work on that. Like
Okay.
food licenses we need.
All right, good. And the third question, or the last question that I have, you spoke about cost efficiency. So just give me how are you planning to build in cost efficiency?
So our service is really reasonable because we right now definitely, like we said, the entire reason why we built this business is because health and fitness have taken a backseat. Now, people who hire nutritionists, they pay a huge lump sum amount for their services, and it often burns a hole in their pocket. But our services are around we can around 3,000 you can have your services from our in-house nutritionist. We will have our entire food menu for your personalized. We'll personalize that menu for you. Many people they have dietary restrictions, like they are lactose intolerant or they're gluten intolerant. So the entire business idea is that instead of hiring a nutritionist, we will be your personal nutritionist. So I think that is really cost effective and really reasonable for the people to try it out.
Good, very good. All the best. So yeah, so please plan it well, and maybe you want to put it into various phases of execution.
Yeah, the alpha version, the beta
helpful.
version of our business.
Yeah. So maybe choose your target accordingly, do some market testing before you actually launch your set of products. But good idea. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I have a few questions. I'm slightly confused. I see your project to be primarily that of a cloud kitchen. Okay. You have said that you'll provide a food truck, a highly sanitized, safe food truck, which would be providing, food to different schools and everything. But are you planning on just one food truck or multiple food trucks? Because, trying to ensure that, your services are spread all through the city, that also only one city, you'll require multiple food trucks because the timing requirement of every school would be similar. So the truck can't be at the same place at the same time, at different places at the same time.
So that is in our future plans. Like we said, we'll be starting with one of the food trucks and eventually we will be expanding. So the schools, the tie-up with schools and college canteens are come under our scaling plans. So once our business is well established, we are at a stage, we are going to look for expansions. We are going to get more than one truck at different places at different times.
Okay, the second question which I had is that, where will your kitchen be? Will it be in the food truck or will you have a centralized kitchen? Because, you're talking about home deliveries and everything. So that concept goes well with a cloud kitchen, with a centralized kitchen. But if you have a food truck which is roaming all over the city,
yes, sir. So, sir, we obviously wouldn't be roaming around the city. I mean, we can't work on it on a moving vehicle. So we'll definitely, like I said, we'll have a time schedule. Hourly, we will be situated in different areas according to the schedules, like school hours, office hours, like that. And we will be situated in the populated and commercial hubs. We'll have a time schedule prepared. And for that, and to the first question, that is our kitchen, it will be inside the food truck. there'll be electrical appliances there, a freezer there. And I think that is the main thing. A food truck has an inbuilt kitchen inside. So yes, we have a kitchen inside the food truck.
Okay, you talked about an app also, by which we can sort of select what food we want.
So
And
website,
also,
yes. We didn't think of an app because first we have to reach those scales, wider audience. Then we can definitely develop our website into an app.
and what sort of investment do you think this whole project will require? Have you done any assessment?
Yes, so for now, it calculated up to 9,30,000.
9 lakhs, let's say 10 lakhs out. And how many customers do you think you'll require to break even?
So regarding our revenue streams, we are definitely focusing on our membership fees. I think the membership along with the premium for our dietitian facilities and our special discounts and combo meals along with the membership fees of around first 50 customers, along with some collaborations which we are having with other companies, with gyms and other things. Those culminate this into our revenue stream will help us to sustain ourselves.
Okay, one last question which I have is that, this whole concept of the food truck with a very hygienic delivery of food. So we are not talking about street food. We are talking about a slightly upscale food, right? So your customer levels would also be a slightly upscale customer segment, right? Do you see them coming out to the food truck to buy their food and taking it back to their house or something? I mean, don't you see that, there's some conflict in the whole concept? I mean, they would like home delivered food, of course, right? So if they are going to select on the website, get the food delivered at home, then bulk of the activity would be there, So the concept of the traveling food truck and this, I see some conflict in the entire concept. Would you agree?
So actually, food trucks aren't that popular in India, but in Western countries, there's a different culture surrounding food trucks. You go out with friends, you have chairs out there. It's a different feeling than rather eating alone at home. So that's why we're focusing on that.
Like we mentioned, like here in India, food trucks will be seen as street stalls. So many people might not be comfortable approaching it. So that is why we need to normalize this culture in our country. So that's why we are aiming to do that.
Okay, thank you. Good effort.
Thank you, sir.
I wish you all the best. Hope you'll go through with it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, the team from DPS Ruby Park, Kolkata, very well done. You know what the judges think. You have heard their questions, which I think is a wealth of advice that you received. But this is where the audience gets to have their say. The audience, you have a poll on your screens now. You can rate the team from DPS Ruby Park, Kolkata, 5 on 20, 10 on 20, 15 on 20, or 20 on 20. Remember, the schools are getting scored out of 120, of which 100 points come from our judges and 20 points come from you, our audience. I can see that the votes are coming in. Remember, you have 90 seconds to place your vote, during which time I would also request our judges to please put the scores into the score sheets. Mr. Mukhopadhyay, thank you, sir. I have your scores. I can also see that Mr. Gupta is putting in his scores. Wonderful. We are about 52 seconds in and 66% of people have voted. The rest 33%. I know it's a tough decision, but one that you have to make. So in the next 30 seconds, why don't you decide whether you're going to rate the team 5, 10, 15, or 20 and quickly put that vote in. The last 15 seconds. And that's time. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for putting in those votes. Judges, thank you so much for your scores. And the team from DPS Ruby Park, Kolkata, thank you for that wonderful presentation. Well, I would now like to call upon the next team, the Kendra Vidyalaya number 1 Ordnance Factory from Itarshi. The team from Kendra Vidyalaya, if you could please switch on your cameras. So I have Stuti and Nitin on my screen. You have a third team member, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir, we are progressing without him.
You'll progress without him?
Yes, sir.
Is it a connectivity issue, or are you expecting your teammate to join later?
There's some network problems.
All right, cool. So Stuti, I can see your screen. Great. Let me know when you're ready to start.
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Great. So team from Kendra Vidyalaya number 1, Itarshi, all the best. Your time for 7 minutes starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are speaking for Gauge by duty of Kendri Vidyalaya number 1 Ordnance Factory, Itarsi. The concern and enterprise is located in the state of Madhya Pradesh. The team members are Nitin Jha, Stuti Singh, Nihal Rathore, Daksh, Satyam, and RAV Mr. Om Prakash. Safal, shifting of agro and forest available land. Indica and fingers of the project knit together are tempering. Tempering is individualization of electronic component and underpinning and infrastructure toning up. Babysit, taking care of wood and forest during the enact of the infrastructure. Bottling, refrigerating environment and ecosystem. Levy, asking price and face value of project to the consignee. Attainable, making scene of all domain and sectors and making door always open.
As we all are aware with that, the world is feeling pinch of tormenting nature and Mother Earth. And during the event Make Ready for Infrastructural Growth and Integration, we are demolishing and demolishing the
Sorry, I can't hear you. Can you speak a bit louder, please? Bring the mic closer to your mouth, maybe.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
A little better.
Now, sir?
Still too feeble, actually.
So team, don't worry, your timing has been paused. Stuti, is there a way that you can bring the laptop closer to yourself, or in a way that you're closer to the microphone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now, how it is?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Great. So once you start, I'll restart your timer. Carry on.
Yes, sir. As we all are aware with that, the world is feeling pinch of tormenting nature and Mother Earth. And during the event of Make Ready of infrastructural growth and integration, we are demolishing and demolishing the natural beauty of texture of nature. But it is an essential event for harnessing the resources and to meld with existing need. Our project Safal focus on how to start ball rolling between nature and need. The project is focused on how to shifting and turn the table during the establishment of framework and outfits. We all know and have suffered with pandemic of COVID-19 and have taught lesson to Homo sapiens that live in limit and respect nature. Should remember the squandering event of Mumbai flood 2005 due to encroachment of Methai River and recent episode of Kinnaur landslide and collapse of entire ranges damaging life and tenure. The project will impact on safeguarding the damage to wood and forest during the establishment by shifting to dry and dust and squaring the loss of environs and ecological community. We are judicially working with Community Green Tribunal in India with similar objective and ground zero effort, and our project will be a tool and watch a McAllen to them. We all do remember and show gratitude to nature and for providing life jacket and severe accident oxygen. And Safal is a frontier settler.
We are now graphically and perceptibly portraying you the damage, destruction, and stigma to forest and woods due to yen of human name of tune of conquering nature and destroying ecosystem. Also, we are spotlighting how strengthening of nature will save the world from diffuse of COVID and other future dangerous biological weapons.
Project cost is a sort of one-time investment on machinery and other technical resources reaching up to 2 crores. We also have to have skilled engineer to operate the project. The source of our money of investment are collaborates and bank loans.
The cost we are providing to the consignee are as follows. The costs are to be settled on the basis and nature of the tree. If the tree's height lies between 20 to 25 feet, it will cost rupees 2,500. It will extend somewhere between rupees 10,000 if the tree goes to 25 feet to 50 feet. There will be a more technical efforts to shift a tree with a more broadened roots, reaching its cost to 15,000 and 25,000 respectively. The project bottom line is to save endangered environment about to be enlisted in Red Book and save and decorate our planet of life, Mother Earth. The project is focused on establishing an enterprise working on shifting of trees and woods caused during the course of establishment. Collaboration and red packs of the project are government organization, Green Tribunal, and Squatty establishments. Thank you. The source of our informations are officials of KVS, our respected teachers, and students of Kendra Vidyalaya number 1 Ordnance Factory Itarshi, and parents and friends would be a great help.
Well, thank you, team. Is that your entire presentation?
Yes, sir, that's all.
Right. A word of request, if you could both keep your cameras on, I can see you that you go on and off the camera, which is actually time inefficient. Right. And I will now invite the judges to ask you questions, but I think moving trees to save them, great idea. Judges, if you may.
So Stuti and Nathan, interesting idea, but my only concern is, let's say we face this problem particularly for large industrial projects, in the forest areas. Particularly, you spoke about MP and that part of the country, which is very, very densely forested, and the cost of relocating trees to something which is where we have to get alternative place where you can relocate, and that cost may be prohibitive for some of these projects. So did you speak to anybody, other than government? So let's say an industrial, an organization who has industrial projects in plan or maybe has already executed. So did you get any feedback from them, whether they would be okay to be approached with such a plan? Yes, Tuti, Nitin, is that clear?
Your voice is not clear in the last 2-3 lines. Can you please
So,
repeat?
okay, so did you approach or did you check with any project implementation, let's say, organization who would be keen to take your solution of shifting trees?
Yes, sir. Sir, we have a plan to collaborate with some NGOs and other government organizations who are keening to save the environment and stopping the cutting of trees.
No, that I understand. But let's say if there is a large scale project, let's take iron and steel company, or maybe a copper mining company, or bauxite mining company. So they would probably need lands, tracts of in thousands of hectares. And you're talking about MP and that part of the country where it is very densely forested. So, one particular project may have thousands of trees. So that may run into a few hundred crores just to relocate the trees. And that too, you have to get already placed where you can relocate these trees, right? So not only that, they will, you can uproot, you have to take it to a particular place, and then, because you did not mention that as to if you are charging 25,000. So if I am asking you to relocate from, let's say, MP to Noida, will you be able to do that in 25,000 rupees? Obviously not, right? So you have to think about it in terms of the possibility, the economic viability of such a idea. From the green perspective, absolutely fine. This is brilliant what you have thought through. But the commercial part, in terms of the economics of it, will it work? If it works, how you can you innovate a little differently rather than pricing it individual tree being uprooted and replanted somewhere. So that's my concern, whether a commercial body will be able to accept your solution. And did you speak to anybody? Government and NGO are fine because they will not pay for it, right? Somebody else will pay for it. So whosoever will have to pay, you have to check with them whether they are okay with such a solution. And the other observation, I don't have a question on that, but another observation that I have is your project cost. That may be a little too simple. You have to think through, as to how you're going to execute that. What kind of, you spoke about one machine, a few machines maybe. That's it. But that may not be sufficient. There are a lot of other things that you will require. And that will then influence your pricing. If there is a project which is into, let's say, 10,000 trees to be taken from one place to another place. So how will you price that rather than just 50 trees? Things like that. So think about it, and then you may need to redraft your idea accordingly. But interesting thinking, very interesting.
Yes, sir, we'll work on it.
Okay, Nitin and Stuti, do you have any data about the survival of these replanted trees? You can always pick up a tree, dig it out from its root and replant it somewhere else. But do these trees survive? Do you have any information on that?
Sir, there will be approximately 40 to 60% chances that the prey would live after that replantation.
So your cost, is it dependent on, are you giving any guarantee of survival to the people who are paying you for it? If there is a 40 to 60% means it's a 50-50 chance, the tree might survive, might not survive. So, instead of replanting a tree, the industrialist also has the option of, planting a new tree, a sapling, and for every tree that he cuts, he can have some multiple saplings planted and get it. It might be a much cheaper alternative for him. So have you looked
Sir,
at
but
the
sapling
alternatives
a
that he
tree,
has, and how does your proposal come out stronger compared to any of the alternatives?
sir, but sapling a tree and cutting a tree are not equal now. Sir, it is approx 20 to 30 years it will take to grow.
Sir, if we are moving like 50 trees and out of them 30 will survive, sir, it will be a great achievement.
Yeah, it's a great achievement. Yeah, even if one survives, I suppose. But, I mean, there's a commercial element to the whole thing, and there's an objective. If out of 50 trees which are cut off from a block and, transported somewhere else and only one survive, then you'll find a lot of industrialists coming and just, cutting off the trees and saying that, oh, I transplanted it, but it never grew, so didn't survive. So all sorts of mischief might take place, Anyway, I mean, these are some of the practical problems which you have to think through. Others, as Shuman said, that, you have to look at all sorts of permissions, see whether it's commercially viable for the industrialists to think in terms of replanting trees like this. And you've talked about 2 crore investment. That is only for the truck?
Sir, on the
The
machinery,
cutting? Huh?
sir, on the machinery, like the machine of replanting of trees and the cranes to transport it.
Okay. See, it's an innovative concept, all right. The fact that you're thinking green and thinking about preserving trees, itself is something which is very commendable. But the solution which you come up with has to be practical. And there are various aspects which you need to look into in further detail before you can really say that, it's an implementable project, right? So Shimon has already suggested certain areas which you look into, and, consider all of that, and test out your concept with potential customers. They'll be the best people who will give you a feel of whether they will accept these sort of costs and whether these sort of costs are actually practical or not. I mean, I don't know where you come out with that 5,000, 10,000, 15 to 20,000 sort of figures, but look into it. I think it will require a bit more of in-depth analysis. Anyway, well done for thinking of this project. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
A huge thank you to all the judges for your wonderful inputs. I'm sure the team today stands better for it. Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, the poll is on. You have 90 seconds to put your choice of marks for the KV Itarshi team on your screens. You can rate them 5, 10, 15, or 20 out of 20. Also, do remember the teams that are presenting today, the 4 teams, they're not just competing amongst themselves, but they're actually looking for a slot in the top 24 on our leaderboard. About half a minute in, we've had 60% of people voting. Others, please also do put in your votes. At the 1 minute mark, we have had 67% of people voting. Come on, people, the last 15 seconds. Judges, thank you for your scores. I have them with me. And that's time. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for putting in those votes. Thank you, judges, for your scores. And thank you, team, for that presentation. We move on to the next school, which is Mayo College Boys School from Ajmer. Mayo College, if you could please switch on your cameras.
Yes, sir.
Great. I hope all the connectivity issues are sorted.
Yes, sir. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. There's a bit of an echo. Do you have another device in the room that might
Yeah,
be
I'll just do that.
Sure.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible and visible? Can you all see me here?
Yes, we can. And I think your connectivity is much better.
Great. Right. Thank you so much.
Who would be sharing your screen?
So my fellow teammate Kunal will be sharing his screen.
Yes, sir. Is there an echo now?
No, I think you're sorted.
Yeah. So can you please give the access to share?
You already have it. If you could just try once.
Let's say it's not.
It's not letting you share?
Yeah.
Are you sharing from the same system or is it a different system?
So it's a different system.
All right.
Okay.
Could you try once more, please, now?
So we can see it, Kunal. It's visible. All right. So with the permission of the judges and our host, could I start?
Right. So since you guys are ready, all the best, team. And your time for 7 minutes starts now.
A very good evening to everybody. My name is Arjun Singh Nagra and my fellow teammate is named Kunal Grover. We are from Mayo College and we have a very unique business idea. Our idea's name is Sure Health Services and our motto is for you, we are here. Kunal, could I please have the next slide? Thank you so much. Now, a healthy diet is essential for good health and nutrition. It protects you against many chronic non-communicable diseases such as heart diseases, diabetes, and cancer. Food is one of the most significant components of retail consumption. Today, it counts for more than 30% of the overall consumer expenditure. Becoming specific, it has emerged as a segment with massive opportunities. Kunal, could I please have the next slide? Thank you so much. Now, as we are aware of the fact that unsafe food containing harmful bacteria, viruses, parasites, and chemical substances causes more than 200 ranging diseases such as diarrhea or cancer. Access to sufficient amounts of safe and nutritious food is the key to sustaining life and promoting good health. Especially in the time of this pandemic, good food is very essential for not only us, our elders, even the youth of India, not only India, the whole world. Children under the age group of 5 years carry 40% of foodborne diseases burdens with and have an immense amount of deaths every year. I would request my fellow teammate Kunal Grover to please take over from here.
Thank you, Arjun. So basically, keeping all the problems in mind, we have developed a platform that will serve as a mediator between people and their most healthy diet. What we propose to do is, we are not just going to cater to their needs of healthy diet, but we are going to give them a platform from which they can get good diagnosis, and accompanied with that, they will get good raw materials on their doorstep. Because of the health consciousness movement, the need of herbs and the need of ancient medical systems is significantly increasing. And due to the more supply, we are not able to manage demand. So basically what are we going to do is we are in the business of providing good food to the people who require it the most. How will it work? In the first step, our customers will sign up for our program and we'll arrange their appointments with our doctors for their body diagnosis and find their body type. We will also manage and tie up with allopathic healthcare officials, alternative medical practitioners, Ayurvedic acharyas, and local Kirana stores for the grocery items and the diet plans. Secondly, after reaching that, we will make a diet plan ready for them and then arrange the necessary items needed for their diet. At the end of the process, diet plans with the grocery required will be sent to our clients. Basically, what we think is that this service cannot suffice the need of poor in our country. We have to have a customer base that is rich and belongs to the upper middle class of our country. We will basically be targeting these regions, Delhi, Kochi, Hyderabad, etc. Because yesterday I met a doctor and she told me that how people are coming with more health requirements. People are coming with more healthy alternative options for their diets. And I saw that with this kind of influx, I'm sure we can counter and penetrate the market. The viability and the commercial need of our product is too much because of the COVID and also because of the 2016 healthcare wellness and healthcare movement. Through our market survey and societal relevance, we have come to a conclusion that today we don't even need to get a profound impact on what people are doing. We have to appeal to their consciousness, and through that we can sell our product and sell our service. The experimentated nature of healthy herbs and ashwagandha and shaf and increasing health consciousness and the Ayurvedic boom, because from 2016 to 2020, the revenue of Ayurvedic medical practitioners increased from $30 billion to $70.8 billion. Thank you. Arjun, please take over.
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much, Kunal. Now, coming up to the product costing, like Kunal said, that we are targeting the upper middle class and the rich customers. That does not mean that we are going to leave the poor class and the middle class of India behind. Leaving that aside, we came up with a holistic approach in taking all social elements and have come with a price of 1.2 lakhs. Although this is just an approximation and depends on the person to person. This does not mean we are leaving the poor in this country behind. 1.2 lakhs is a very generous and it's a very we have thought this amount. We've gone through various and many certain amounts, and this amount is clearly very reasonable. Thank you so much, Kunal. I would love for you to take over.
Our selling strategies is basically cashing in on the economics and emotional quotient of people through constant interaction with them, because today we are not getting sufficient amount. Today our country is in a winter of discomfort, as I would like to say it. Our nation is currently embroiled in a food crisis, and this food crisis is not based on hunger, but quality food is an issue. That's what we are going to get them. Secondly, Kirana stores are getting irrelevant by time. although they are very much relevant in small cities. In big
Guys, sorry to
cities,
interrupt. I'm really sorry to
sorry.
interrupt, but you are at the 7-minute mark. Would you like to continue?
Yes, sir, just one more slide, please.
Up to you, but we will be docking points once you go over the time limit, right?
Okay.
All right. Please carry on.
Through this, we are going to put an impact on 4 scales, what we like to call 4 pillars of our presentation and our business plan. First is Kirana stores. Second is the struggling FMCG industry. Third is to solve the problem of quality health food. And fourthly, we are going to initiative to develop a system for the malnutrition population of India through CSR. Thank you.
I would like to thank everybody for giving us this great opportunity and this amazing platform to showcase our little business idea. I would like to thank Kunal, all the judges, and our lovely host for giving us this wonderful opportunity. We would even like to thank our teacher, Mr. Vinay Kumar, and a fellow teammate and a friend, Ryan Singh, for helping us making this PPT. We will be up for questions now, if you have any. Thank you so much.
All right, team, thank you for that. I had stopped the timer once Kunal ended the PPT. I hope that was okay. The
So,
judges?
and adding to that, we are even extremely sad for crossing the time limit, sir. We're extremely sorry, we're extremely apologetic.
Please don't be. We'll only dock your points for that. So I'll now leave it to the judges for the questions.
Yeah, Arjan, Kunal, the best part is I quite liked your presentation. Very clean. In few places, probably a little bit of extra sentences, but otherwise very clean. So good job. Very, very nice.
Thank you, sir.
And my question is, so this space is quite interesting. You know, maybe because of COVID, it became even more interesting. And you were right. I don't know the numbers exactly. As you said, I think it has gone to $70 billion. But the biggest problem with health and wellness and associated products and services is the lack of transparency and lack of credibility. Every other person is selling. If you go to Amazon, there is no way to figure out, even by going through the review, what works, why it works, and why it doesn't work. Is it a waste or is it a placebo? What is it? So that is where I think the seed of a problem for this particular product, as we had seen long back, the insurance product linked to ULIP, etc. That's my concern in this domain. So what is your thinking? How are you going to approach this? One is, see this, even the sourcing of products. You said that you're going to connect with doctors, you're going to connect with nutritionists, you're going to connect with Kinara shops. But the biggest problem is the sourcing. Where are you going to source it from? How do you know the authenticity of these sources? Even a certification by someone, even an international body can be fudged. There are organic sources being said, but you don't know what you're getting. Whether you're getting the organic or not, God alone knows. So what is your thinking on that? Have you thought through all that, the issues related to this? And
yes, sir.
How are you going to attack it?
So,
Kunal, would you want to answer that question, or should I?
Yeah. So when I was researching about this, when we were researching about this idea, we came to a conclusion that supermarkets and going to supermarket and people addressing this issue of not getting quality food is getting mainstream. So I also research about Kirana stores because they are very small stores at a point of time. And I believe that they can get, if they get small quantities of food, they can get good quality as well. So that's what I think. But coming on to your question, that's a big concern because I have also researched with my father, and FSSI or halal or any certification cannot prevent anyone to produce bad quality products or that are manipulated. So that is the problem that we are going to address. And if our business plan is successful enough, we are also going to focus on production ourselves. of agricultural products that are going to come from there, or the products that are made artificially.
Right. So if I would like to, could I add to that a little, 1 or 2 lines, if I have your permission?
Yeah, please.
So we go by the motto, for you, you have us, but a second saying in the marketing business or in the business where you have food is quality, quality, quality. So we will be taking a lump sum of 1.2 lakhs from everybody, right? Now, if we as a company, as a small business cannot provide you quality, then what good is the money? So thinking of this, we have, and me, and I don't know if Kunal remembers, but we stressed on this point a lot during our practices, that we would be conducting many tests every week. We would be conducting weekly tests that our products, when they go to the consumer, they are nothing but satisfied, because the money we are taking, we are bound to give them quality, and that is nothing wrong. So we will be conducting weekly tests, if not daily tests, to check whether our food is that has quality and hopefully not urine in it. So let's see. But quality is a very crucial subject, which we would be, and that is the main reason for us. This is the main reason why we are opening the store, because quality is so important in today's life. Thank you so much.
So this 120,000 for 3 months.
No,
What
sir.
does it?
It will be for 45 days because after researching, we came to a conclusion that as weather changes, our body also changes. And what we eat is what we are, because that is basically energy and we are also energy. Right. And if the weather energy is changing by time, we also have to change the diet. So every 45 days, we'll be changing the diet. So that amount is for 45 days.
And what will that basket be? Is it for one individual?
Yeah, it is for an individual. And it will also depend on what is the habit of a person to eat, how he eats or how he or she eats, and what their body requires. Because today, one thing is also in trend that people would like to check their fat percentage and oil, what they have, and everything they like to check it through. So we'll also have an holistic diagnosis, and we'll come to the conclusion that how much you need to eat in 45 days and what will be the cost. That's just an approximation.
And what are what will this basket have? Grains, pulses, spices, whatever.
So that will depend from person to person. So for example, if you are I hope everything is fine. But if you say are lactose intolerant, that does not mean we start giving you cheese and milk. So depending on person to person, what that person has, what that person likes, what the person dislikes, right? Like I said, we are taking a holistic approach on how we want to create this business, right? So from every person to person, we will see their habits, their allergies, checking what food they have, what food they like, what food they don't like. Taking all these aspects into consideration, we would be giving you, or say any client consumer of us, a certain food plan, a monthly plan, by which we will be even making you talk to doctors and to the people, the wholesale sellers, the market, people in the market, right? We as a company are a source of communication for you, right? Yes. One call to our business, and you will be getting the best of everything. I'm so sorry if I'm taking too long and cutting my teammates. So I'm so sorry.
Okay, Mayo boys, I have a question. Right. See, you've talked about, getting personal likes, dislikes, what a person requires and everything. And you will identify all this by getting the Ayurvedic Acharya to come and meet the person, to test the person, and then specify what diet he requires. Is that correct?
No, sir. So what we'll do is we'll make a team. We'll patch up with many doctors and officials. And because Ayurveda is in trend, that's the principal reason we are involving an Ayurvedic acharya in it. So after diet, with the allopathic healthcare official and a nutritionist is made, we'll try to include some elements of Ayurvedic health medical system. For that reason, we'll appoint Ayurvedic acharya to work with us. Secondly, about diagnosis, no doctor will be going to the houses. A person will have online arrangements, and whatever test the doctor prescribes will be done.
Okay, I'm still not very clear about the tie-up between allopathic and Ayurvedic treatments in your specific case, but overlooking
May I
that,
explain it to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suppose I mean, you're asking them to pay 1,20,000 for 45 days now. That's almost like 3,000 rupees a day. That's huge. I mean, I doubt if many families, individuals spend that much on their food requirements on a daily basis. That's number one.
So if I could add to that, if I don't know if this will answer your question. So we are all aware of the, Kunal, I would just love to take this one. We are all aware of the cricketer known as Virat Kohli. He does not drink normal water. He has this special water that comes from Paris, mineral water that costs him about many crores every year. As we told you that we are targeting the rich and the upper middle class, which certainly have this the opportunity to spend their money on their well-being and being healthy. Now, if Virat Kohli say can spend 5,000 on just hydrating himself, why can't the rich and the people who want to stay healthy can? I would love for Kunal to take over.
Yeah, but then, I mean, if you're trying to locate the Virat Kohlis of India, it's basically out of our entire population, what percentage would comprise that category of individuals who can afford
So a survey
more
was
than 3,000? And you're not the only option that they have. They have a whole lot of other options for meeting the requirements of food.
Right.
Yes,
Virat Kohli, even if he
is,
signs up for your case, for your offer, he will not give up his Evian or Perrier, mineral water which he gets from Paris. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. I think you have to take a fresh look at your costing. Number one. Number two is Kirana stores and Virat Kohli. I mean, the whole concept doesn't go at all. Okay, the last thing Virat Kohli will think of doing is going to a Kirana store. Okay.
That was just a hypothetical example.
Yeah, I mean, so the two concepts, trying to promote Kirana stores and trying to promote this sort of a lifestyle, I think there's a major clash as far as that is concerned. Trying to promote Kirana stores is very populistic, but I mean, the sort of category of individuals you're thinking in terms of, they will probably be looking at more of the superstores and the supermarkets and other places. So that's one concept which I thought was clashing over here. Think about it. Otherwise, it's an unusual concept which you have.
May I answer? May I explain you? So the first thing that the costing is too high. I agree with you, and only 2 or 3% of Indians come in that category of paying so much for their food, basically. So over time, what we are going to do is we're going to promote ourselves and develop a mutual relationship between the Kirana store, because we are not telling those people to go to Kirana stores. Basically, those Kirana stores will be developing a service to deliver it to their doorstep. So that will not be happening in their case. So they'll not be going to a Kirana store. And being the cost is so high, I would like to take an example of a healthcare center which I interacted with the professional that when I discussed this plan with, and then the name is Nadi Yoga. That is also in healthcare and Ayurveda, and now they are charging 1,50,000 for 60-day service, and that's just a therapy that is online, and there are 100 customers for a month. So the kind of influx that people are people are spending money so much on Ayurvedic stuff. Just the name of Ayurvedic and organic, because people don't realize if the organic is made in the process or while growing. So just the name is attracting people. Just the name is telling people to invest.
Yeah, but you must realize over there that, it's the credentials of the delivery person which is critical. People might be willing to pay 1,60,000 to Nadi Yoga or whatever. But for you to immediately enter the market and expect 1,20,000 for a 45-day diet, I don't know how feasible that is going to be. You have to establish your credentials first. Okay. Yeah, I think you need to take a look at it.
Sure.
And be more realistic about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good observation, Devashish, because I was also wondering as to these two in terms of your target market and the vehicles that you're planning to use, that Kinara thing. Probably you need to just knock that off and think it very differently, because your idea, I am tempted to agree with you that there are, though in terms of numbers, it may not be a large, but 1% or maybe even less than 1% of India it's a significantly large number overall. But your target of let's say Chandigarh, Trichy, Hyderabad, etc., that also is little too risky, because in terms of starting that, let's say take an example of the celebrities. You were aware of some of the celebrity nutritionists, like let's take an example of Rujita Divakar, the person who kind of made ghee, etc., kind of again funky to eat, because some of us who started hating all sorts of ghee and mustard oil or whatever 20 years back, all of a sudden started loving it, because she and some of her clients like Karish Kapoor, etc., started saying all that. Right? Now think about it. The channel of reaching out to such celebrities on people like them, or rather who follows them, the influencers, it's a very different channel. So your business idea doesn't have a problem, but I think the execution channel that you have thought through, as Devashish rightly pointed out, you need to think through that. The market in terms of whether it is 140,000, I would actually challenge you to make it maybe 5 lakhs for 1 month plan, so that it becomes even more interesting for a lot of people, you see. But you have to present it, package it, channel it in such a way, then it becomes really very attractive for those people, with all the credibility built in terms of the sourcing, maybe from, as you said, the water from Paris, maybe something from Machu Picchu or whatever, you see. So those are things that are very attractive. But the channel, the entire marketing program, your promotion, the pricing, everything changes. Then the Ayurvedic, that whatever that you Acharya, etc., they may not necessarily be attractive. Then you probably need someone like Rujita Divakar, somebody who has integrated the learning of modern sciences along with the this natural whatever.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And presented to these people. So think about it. But interesting stuff. But you need to think through the overall.
Surely. So we'll think about it as well. And one thing I'd like to add is, while thinking this project out, I was in a dilemma, basically, that if people are going to come to us, because we don't have any credibility, as you mentioned, and we are new in the market. So it will be very hard for us to penetrate in the market with this kind of money that we are charging. So I also thought about having, a conversation with doctors and developing this technique that basically focuses not only just on health, but also on quality of living. So if I believe if through interaction, through webinars and through these kind of presentations, if you are going to influence their emotional quotient, I think that can very much work for us for some time. But obviously, what we planned is, till 5 years, we are going to incur loss. So that is going to happen. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, good.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much, judges. Thank you, team, for the presentation. I will now open the polling for the audience to have their say. Audience, you get to let us know what you thought of the idea from Mayo College Boys School as well. You have the polls on your screen now. Please do rate the team 5, 10, 15, or 20 on 20. About 20 seconds in, more than half of people have voted. I know the judges have given you a lot of input, which I think will really, really help you in case you want to take this idea forward. And God knows, India has a huge area for premium products. I mean, most of the times, because of our huge population, we tend to focus on the bottom billion, but there is a very attractive market at the top of the pyramid. Having said that, I would request you, and this is something that I have kind of had as an experience with Notebook, look at the income distribution curve. It is not the way you think it is right now sitting in your house. That is something I can guarantee. We've learned this firsthand, and it's an incredible piece of data to look at.
Yes, thank you so much for the remarks, sir.
Just about 10 more seconds to go. 76% of people have voted. Last 5 seconds. And that's time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for putting in those votes. Thank you, team, for the presentation. I will now like to take my screen back and invite the last and final school for today, Ramana Vidyalaya from Chennai. Could the team please switch on your cameras? So Mahita and Kaushik, 2-member team?
4-member team, sir. Our technical team supported us.
All right, perfect. And who would be presenting your screen?
I'll be presenting my screen, sir.
Could you try it out once, please?
Can you see it?
Yes, we can. Let me know when you're ready to start.
Yes, sir.
All
And
right. So team from Ramana Vidyalaya, Chennai, all the best. Your time for 7 minutes starts now.
a very good evening to the esteemed judges on the panel and everyone present here. I, Mahita Damodara, on behalf of Team Ramana Vidyalaya, would like to present our proposal on the ER EcoBoard, Comprehensive Healthcare on Wheels. The idea revolves around providing an electrically powered vehicle that provides immediate medical care for emergency and trauma patients en route to the nearest hospital. We see this as extremely relevant, as right now, so many factors derail the efficiency of emergency response. Ambulance reaching the patient on time, then transporting that patient to a hospital through chaotic Indian traffic, it's an obvious and dangerous hassle. On an average, 27% of patients in Indian cities succumb to fatalities before reaching the hospital. 90% of our ambulances are under-equipped, and only 37% of citizens pan-India have ready access to healthcare. Our vision is to provide to the general public a means of accessible healthcare that is socially responsible, economically feasible, environmentally friendly, technologically advanced, and as a step into the future of Indian healthcare. This vision materializes with the ER EcoBoard. We propose to combine an electrically powered vehicle with all the necessary emergency and trauma response equipment to create a system where patients can be attended to even as they are actively being transported to an ER healthcare facility. The EV we've selected for this purpose is the T1N Force Motors van. With around 22 feet in length, it provides ample space for the patient, anesthetist, and a doctor, along with the medical equipment. One of the novel features in this product is the hybrid engine. This allows the driver to toggle between being powered electrically and being powered by fuel, allowing for an emergency backup. We'd equip this vehicle with a GPS system, LED lighting, integrated database coordinated with the hospitals. This would ensure that the patient's data can be viewed by the on-ground hospital doctors, dynamically further reducing the time taken for a patient to be treated. Medical equipment like a patient monitor, defibrillator, the ECG machinery, anesthesia machine, ventilator, nebulizer, and sterilizer will ensure that a patient can be treated within the vehicle itself. To bring this off paper and onto the market, we came up with the modus operandi. Talking about the investment required, 25 lakhs per unit of the van combined with 17 lakhs worth medical equipment and modification costs totals up to 42 lakhs per unit. We plan to purchase and modify 20 such units, added together to a price of 8.5 crores. Along with overheads to set up the warehouse for modification, admin, and charging stations, which would cost around 5 crores, the total investment required would be 13.5 crores. We expect to generate profit in 3 years. We've broken the implementation of this into steps to map our way to bringing the EcoBolt to life. Step 1 is to acquire capital from investors. This would be whoever we pitch this proposal to. In step 2, we would complete the legal procedures by procuring a license and availing insurance for our product. Step 3 would mean hiring personnel, both admin purposes and modifying. In step 4, we'd set up the infrastructure required to run our business and also create a site for step 5, in which we'd purchase and modify the vehicles, fitting them with our medical equipment. In short, creating the product itself. Step 6, lastly, would involve selling our products. Now, how do we reach the market? To set the gears in motion, we pitch the product to the public healthcare sector and multi-specialty healthcare franchises who purchase our product and use their own personnel to run them. That way, a flow of data from the patient to the doctors is ensured. We develop awareness in the public of this new idea through ads, both online and offline. And we'd ensure we receive feedback on the EcoBolt as well as proactively better it. While bringing this product to life, one of the challenges would be to acquire license from the government. Being a new concept, it might take a while to acquire government approval and license. Luckily, the Tamil Nadu government already has subsidies in place for the purchase of EVs. That, combined with the crucial and need-of-the-hour nature of this product, reflects well for us in this situation. Another thought was the competition presented by the present ambulances. However, our product is specialized to handle high-risk cases and would not hinder the working of a regular ambulance in any way. The EcoBolt would be dispatched when the case in question is critical. Now, why should potential investors consider us? Why should you put your money where our mouth is? Above all else, we save lives. We are equipped to handle high-risk cases right now, but we're also prepped to handle them in the future. When time is so essential, financing the EcoBolt can make that 15-minute difference between life and death. And by investing in EVs, your money contributes to the environment and to our future generations. Healthcare now, contributing to healthcare tomorrow. And lastly, purely as a business venture, the EcoBolt is a sustainable model with market right now and relevance in the future too. This product is a pioneer in its field. It's unique and reliable, making for a safe investment with the potential to have amazing returns. Our goals with this product are to reach every strata of society and to do our part in bettering the chance of saving lives. With this in mind, we'd like to expand our horizons in the future to reach rural areas and work towards creating an interstate response system by diversifying from a sales-based model to include a service in the near future. For when people can't reach healthcare, healthcare will reach them. Thank you so much for taking the time to consider this product. We would like to thank our technical team, Naren and Suresh Kumar, for supporting us with all the ideas. My teammate Kaushik Srinivasan and I will be taking the session forward.
Team from Ramana Vidyalaya, Chennai, very well done. Very nice presentation. I will leave it to the judges for the questions.
Yeah, Mohita and Kaushik. What a high-tech presentation. But my question is, you said you're going to spend around 13.5 crore or 14.5 crore.
Yes, sir.
And you're going to, this is for trauma care, right?
Emergency response and trauma care. Yes, sir.
But I assume that, since you're saying that the existing ambulance business or the ecosystem, you're not going to, you're not going to disturb. So these are kind of super critical kind of patients, right?
This
Yes,
would
sir.
be only qualified for those cases with high risk prone, to make sure that the victims get to be accessible to healthcare fast and easy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in trauma, unfortunately, you have no way to know, or you should not actually, whether the person can afford this particular service, because you're spending 13.5 crore. You're going to recover it within 3 years. Is it in one particular city, or how many places are going to do it?
The initial model would start with Chennai city, Greater Chennai, and as we'd expand, we'd like to touch other metropolitan cities and the rural population of India.
Okay, so this 13.5 is for Chennai, right?
Yes, sir.
So what is the estimate of so let's say how are you going to charge? You're going to charge per trip. How many cases of supercritical cases do you get in Chennai? Those who can afford to pay. If they can't pay, then who pays for it?
So the product is structured in a way in where we take it, regardless of whether the patient themselves, let's say they've broken their arm, regardless of whether they can pay for that healthcare, they get into the hospital, they get into the van and the ER EcoBolt, and we are tied up with the government as well. So they get that healthcare first. So that's what the main focus is, getting the healthcare. Now, instead of being charged per trip, it'll be charged the same way medical care is charged normally. So if they were paying their bill normally for medical healthcare, this would just be included in that, and the facilities are provided that way as well.
You need to work that maths, because 13.5 crore in 3 years is quite a significant number.
So the 13.5 crores is the investment that we get to start the business, to set up ourselves.
But you said that you 3 years you're going to make profit, right? So that assume that you're going to take away all your costs within 3 years.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you need to work through the numbers in terms of what is the total number of. So
I think I'd like to add, I think maybe I misunderstood your question. So when we're trying to achieve our profit in 3 years, the product is one aspect of it. Another aspect is, obviously these are electrically powered vehicles, so the charging is very important. So as we tie up with a hospital or like either public healthcare sector, or we tie up with private franchises, we set up one charging station with them and then sign a contract with them to have our team, a smaller team, 24/7 with them to handle any possible situations that could arise. So we do gain revenue that way as well. We have a contract with the healthcare facility themselves.
So you expect to have multiple revenue sources.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
we
sir.
don't expect
a
to sell.
stream for revenue.
We don't expect to sell the all 20 vehicles to one place. We'd like to sell them to both the public healthcare sector and several private units. Our starting, you did mention you were going to ask how many vehicles we plan to start the business with. So we planned to start for 20 vehicles to see how the product would hit the market and how effective it would be. But yes, we do plan on growing. We do plan on increasing the number of products we produce.
All right. Good. Interesting.
My question was that, you are going to associate your ER bot with a particular hospital, right?
Several particular hospitals.
Yeah. No, each ER bot will be associated with one hospital?
Depends. So as a number, let's say I took 5. I sold 5 at a subsidized rate to the government, and I sold 5 each to another hospital, to a different. Let's say I sold 5 to Apollo. I sold 5 to 2 other franchises, hospital franchises.
You're already in business?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, right. No, okay. Now my question was that, when the hospital receives a emergency call saying that an ambulance has to be sent, who takes the decision on whether it's an ambulance or the ER bot which is sent? Because, the cost of the ER bot services will possibly be 5 times that of the ambulance.
So the way it's structured right now, if you make a call to the emergency line to ask for an ambulance, they will first verify whether it's a prank call or whether it's a legitimate concern, and then they'll send you the ambulance. It'll just be paired along. So if they were looking for whether it's a prank call or it's genuine, now they'll just look for if it's a genuine case but can reach the hospital to be treated, or it is a trauma case and it's an emergency case and we have to have the EcoBolt on site immediately to save that patient.
Okay, so it's basically the first responders of the hospital who will be taking the decision.
Yes, sir.
But then
Yes, sir.
ultimately it will be the customer, I mean, the patient who will be paying the bill. And he will have no choice over whether to use the ER bot or whether to use the ambulance. Will he ask a question later on that, why did you send the ER bot and why not an ordinary ambulance?
So, sir, they will be paying for, in such a situation where they require emergency care, that is when it will be sent. And the rationale is very simple. They may not have reached the vehicle, they may not have reached the hospital alive without such proper intensive care en route to the hospital. So that would be our justification method. But otherwise, you could look at it as the hospital has their personnel in the vehicle, right? So they will drive the patient to their hospital. So the response time and everything is almost another way for, if the hospital was thinking commercially, another way for them to get a particular patient. The patient almost doesn't have a choice which hospital they go to now. So the patient is now driven directly to the hospital. So the hospital will obviously reduce that price because they don't get to have that option.
Is there any subsidy available from the government for?
This works two ways. First, when we are procuring the vehicles and assembling the products, the Tamil Nadu government, because we are focusing on Chennai first, the Tamil Nadu government does have subsidies in place. There's a 25% subsidy on procuring electrically powered vehicles, and the state GST will also be completely reimbursed by the Tamil Nadu government, which does work towards helping us have better capital. And we in turn, we would like to, when we're selling to public healthcare sector, we would like to have a subsidized rate, because these are government hospitals which are procuring these vehicles. So because we want them to be able to reach every strata of society, we would subsidize that rate as well for them to have an easier transaction for procuring our vehicles.
Can I assume that this is primarily an urban concept?
The initial model is an urban concept, but as we did mention in the PPT that we'd like to start with a product-based concept where we're trying to sell our product, but eventually we'd like to create these vehicles for ourselves, hire our own team, and drive out to rural places so that healthcare can reach the rural part of India as well.
Okay, fine, thank you. Very interesting concept.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Well done, team, on those answers, and thank you for presenting your idea to us. I would now start the polling, where the audience can have their say on what they think about this brilliant idea from Ramana Vidyalaya, Chennai. People, you have the poll on your screen now. You have 90 seconds to cast your vote while our judges are filling in the scores on the score sheet. About 25 seconds in, and 65% of the people have voted. Would request all of you to make use of this opportunity and let us know what you think about the presentation that you just saw. I love the way how you have two guys presenting it and there's a back-end technical team. Back when I was your age, I didn't know that there could be back-end technical teams. Teams were mostly 11 people wearing a common colored jersey. Just past the 1 minute mark now, and we've had 66% of people voting. Just the last 15 seconds. Judges, I have your scores. Thank you for those. And that's time. Well, everybody, thank you so much for letting us know what you think of the presentations. I would now also request the judges. You've seen four wonderful presentations to have your general comment about what you think about these young entrepreneurs that you just met. Mr. Gupta, would you like to go first?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think these were wonderful presentations. New ideas, new concepts. What was interesting was that, 3 of the 4 projects concentrated on health. Just shows how conscious the younger generation is about health. And I think we all need to be. I didn't see our generation being too health conscious. And so it's good to see this new trend in the younger generation. Some concepts are innovative, new, things which we hadn't heard about before. Some are basically concepts which have been there in the market but have been rehashed so that they provide some additional advantages to the consumers. So that way I find all these projects to be fairly interesting. I hope all the teams who are presenting their projects would be thinking in terms of carrying on further with their entrepreneurship dreams, and maybe someday tomorrow, we will see the culmination of all their efforts and some new projects coming up in these wonderful areas. I wish them all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Mukhopadhyay, over to you, sir.
Yeah, I completely second the wishes there in terms of his observations. I think this is really exciting that young people are thinking through. I think there is a concept on sustainability which is really helpful. That the young people have started thinking in that direction. I have one quick suggestion rather, and this is observation for all the teams. Brilliant ideas, very nice group work. But 3 things that you have to keep in mind while you are coming up with a business idea. So first is that you are solving a problem. Second is, so put a tick mark that you are solving a problem. Second is the problem acknowledged by many people? So is it touching many lives? Not really your sisters, or your brother, your uncle, or your aunt, or your grandmother, or maybe few relatives or whatever. Not really. Not even one particular city. So maybe it's a large problem which is touching many lives. So are there many people who are acknowledging that, yes, this problem bothers us, right? So that's the second tick mark. And the third is very important and most critical, is having acknowledged. So let's say there are 100 people or maybe 100,000 people who acknowledge that, yes, there is a problem. Out of these 100,000 people, are there at least 20,000 people who are willing to pay for the service or the solution that you have? Yeah. So first is are you solving a problem? Second is large number of people are acknowledging that, yes, there is a problem. Third is having acknowledged, are they willing to pay for the solution that you are offering to solve that problem? Yeah. So if you have these 3 tick marks, then I think you pretty much done your groundwork, most of the critical thinking done before you actually are ready with maybe the pilot or whatever. So please think about it, keep it in mind, brilliant ideas. But if you just put these three filters, it may help you to, fine tune your ideas and maybe just flesh it out a little bit so that it becomes really exciting. And then you can concentrate in making it happen. Right? So very nice, great. I'm very excited about it. So I look forward to see some of you with your ideas actually on ground in the next maybe few months or years. And all the best.
Thank you so much, sirs. Thank you for your words of encouragement. I'm sure these young entrepreneurs who are just starting out on this journey of entrepreneurship will get inspired by what you had to say. Also, this is where I would like to invite Achin Bhattacharya to give his comments on the presentations we saw. Achin is the founder and CEO at Notebook. A chartered accountant by training, Achin was a director at Deloitte prior to starting Notebook. It was after 17 years of working experience across India and markets abroad that Achin took the plunge because he saw this need to deliver quality learning material to every child in India. Achin, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. I think really a wonderful session, I must acknowledge. Renowned Austrian-American management consultant, educator, and author, Peter Drucker, he wore many hats. He once said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And today what I see in my young friends, I really see leaders of tomorrow who will create their own destiny. And I'm also very happy with the range of ideas which perfectly represents the pluralistic society that we live in. All the four schools, Delhi Public School, Ruby Park, Kolkata, Kendra Vidyalaya, Itarshi, Mayo College Boys School, and Ramana Vidyalaya, Chennai. Wonderful. What I really liked is that not only did you identify areas of your interest that you want to work with, you also thought about the solution. You thought it through. I agree. It might need, further fine tuning. There might be other challenges that needs to be addressed. But what I really liked is your approach to the problem. And also I saw a good amount of research and also some number crunching. So these ideas are not in thin air. We actually tried, working on them. It's really wonderful. And also, I'm very happy with the kind of synchronization that I saw within the teams. So great teamwork, which is very, very important, irrespective of any domain that you choose to pursue in your life in future. It's really important to be able to work in teams, to be able to appreciate the perspective of the other person, because life is not only about you, it's also about being able to understand what the other person is saying. You may or may not choose to agree with him or her. That's one part of the story. But the other more important part is being able to being receptive, being able to appreciate the other person's point of view. So I think really wonderful. I also thank our esteemed judges, Mr. Devashish Gupta and Mr. Shuman Mukhopadhyay. Thank you so much, sirs, for taking your time out and for encouraging our young learners. I really found the questions very thought-provoking and wonderful. And also, I think what the judges did is they also highlighted the practical challenges. And the whole objective is not to discourage you, but rather to encourage you, to mentor you. Because when you actually bounce your ideas, when you actually speak to people who have been there, done that, and through the journey, so what you actually get is a more mature and 360-degree perspective, and that's the whole objective of this endeavor. So overall, great session, undoubtedly. The most important part that I really liked is I saw a lot of passion in terms of areas that you want to work with. So I was patiently listening to the Q&A session as well. At times when your ideas are being put to test, at times some relevant questions coming to you, I saw while answering those questions, I really saw a lot of sense of ownership, sense of belonging to your ideas. So you're not disconnected with your ideas. These ideas are not, only, they don't exist only in your laptop. You actually, live these ideas, which is really good. Because one of the huge mistakes people make is that they try to force an interest of themselves. But the fact is, you don't choose your passions choose you. And this was said by none other than, Jeff Bezos. So it's really important to be able to identify, what you want to do in life. Because once you do that, rest is bound to follow. it's much easier. I also thank the SC principals for encouraging our endeavor, and I would like to congratulate parents and teachers. And of course, your children have made you very, very proud with your wonderful performance. And to me, each one of you today, you go home as winners, irrespective of your position in the leaderboard, how much you're scoring. So that's one part of the story that might be relevant, but that only reflects your performance on a given day. What is far more important is that you had the courage to come forward and present your ideas in front of the world. You had the courage to face questions with passion, with conviction, and that's the most important part. So I think really wonderful session. Over to you, Shubhayu. And thank you all.
Thank you so much, Achin. As I mentioned, Achin is the founder and CEO of Notebook, where we make content to make the students' life easier. I will now play some short snippets of a few of the Notebook videos, so you know exactly what it is that the Notebook content looks like. In the meantime, I get some time to tabulate the final scores.
नमस्ते बच्चों, नोटबुक में आपका स्वागत है। इस नए वीडियो को आपके सामने प्रस्तुत करते हुए हमें बेहद खुशी हो रही है। हमारा उद्देश्य है परंपरागत शिक्षा को आधुनिक तरीके से पेश करना, ताकि हमारी ये नई पीढ़ी या आप सभी कहीं भी कभी भी इसे आसानी से पढ़ सकें।
Hello students, today we are going to study the story Madam Rides the Bus, written by Valli. The king, Louis XVI, had come to power in 1774 at only 20 years of age. The king helped the 13 American colonies gain independence from Britain.
Curly brown hair turning permanently black. If you memorize this line, it will help you remember the ratios all your life. How? Let's see. Some people have is a way of remembering sine is equal to perpendicular by hypotenuse. Provides energy for everything you do throughout the day. Next is the nucleus, the brain of the cell. This is where all the secrets are stored. Why do you think you have black eyes as your parents? Aha! Thank the nucleus.
Whoa, what is this? We are gonna drown.
Don't worry, you're not going to drown. This is the cytoplasm.
Sometimes, a fully grown individual, such as hydra or planaria or starfish, can give rise to a complete individual from its body parts. Isn't this interesting?
नोटबुक में आप सभी का पुनः स्वागत है।
नमस्ते।
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. We are at the end of the qualifier number 15, and it is now time for me to reveal the scores. This is how our teams have performed today. The DPS Ruby Park, Kolkata, you had 53 from the judges and 10 from the audience. Kendra Vidyalaya number 1 from Itarshi, you had 41 from the judges and 12 from the audience. The Mayo College Boys School, you had 48 from the judges and 10 from the audience. And Ramana Vidyalaya running away with it with 58 from the judges and 17 from the audience, which means your total score stack up as these. DPS Ruby Park, Kolkata with 63, Kendra Vidyalaya number 1 from Itarshi with 53, Mayo College Boys School, Ajmer with 58, and Ramana Vidyalaya with 75. Please do also remember that your judges' scores were compensated for the time overages that we had with a couple of the teams. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of qualifier number 15. I will see you again at 6 o'clock today, India time, for qualifier number 16, which is the last and final qualifier, after which we shall have the list of the top 24 schools which go on to the semi-finals. Once again, a big thank you for being a part of Notebook Ignite, and I hope to see you all in a couple of hours. Until then, please take care and goodbye.